There comes a time in every chosen life when the silence breaks, not with noise, not with chaos, but with clarity. What was once confusing suddenly starts making sense. Conversations you replayed in your mind for years begin to reveal hidden meanings. Situations that hurt you deeply now look different under a new light. You realize something powerful. What was hidden wasn't meant to destroy you, it was meant to prepare you. And when truth finally begins to surface, it doesn't scream. It settles gently in your spirit like a sunrise after a long night. For years, misunderstandings may have shaped how people saw you. Maybe you were labeled as distant when you were protecting your peace. Maybe you were called difficult when you were simply discerning. Silence allowed assumptions to grow, and those assumptions may have hurt more than you ever admitted. But here, the powerful shift. Truth doesn't need your defense. It needs time. And when God reveals truth, He does it in a way that cannot be denied. Have you ever experienced a moment where everything suddenly made sense, where the confusion just lifted? When clarity rises, it changes your posture. You stop explaining yourself to people who were committed to misunderstanding you. You stop fighting to prove your heart. Instead, you stand calmly, confidently, because you know what's real. That's what this season is about. Not exposure for humiliation, but revelation for liberation. And if this resonates with you, take a moment and ask yourself, what truth is unfolding in my life right now? Silence was not punishment. It was protection. There were things you didn't understand because understanding them too early would have wounded you deeper. There were conversations you weren't part of because hearing them would have distracted you from your growth. Sometimes, the silence around you was God shielding your focus. While you felt overlooked, unseen, or unheard, something sacred was happening behind the scenes. Think about a seed planted underground. It looks like nothing is happening. No movement, no visible change. But beneath the soil, roots are forming, strength is building, stability is being established. That was you. While people assumed your quietness meant weakness, you were growing roots. While others spoke loudly, you were being refined. Silence taught you emotional discipline. It taught you discernment. It taught you when to speak and when to walk away. And those lessons, they are priceless. Now, as truth begins to unfold, you realize the silence served you. It protected your character. It filtered your circle. It revealed who truly understood you without explanation. Can you see now why certain things had to remain hidden for a while? What if the waiting wasn't denial, but divine timing? Being misunderstood is one of the most painful human experiences. It creates a feeling of isolation that words can't fully capture. You might have questioned yourself, wondered if you were too intense, too emotional, too different. Maybe you shrank parts of yourself to make others comfortable. Maybe you doubted your calling because no one affirmed it. But here is the truth. Being misunderstood does not mean you are misplaced. It often means you are operating at a frequency others have not yet reached. History is full of individuals who were misunderstood before they were recognized. Innovators, visionaries, leaders, many were questioned before they were celebrated. Why? Because growth often looks strange before it looks successful. When your perspective is deeper, when your spirit is sensitive, when your insight is sharp, not everyone will understand you. And that's okay. You are not designed to fit into every environment. As clarity rises, you will notice something beautiful. The same people who once doubted you may begin to see you differently, not because you changed, but because truth is undeniable. And here's a question for you. Have you been shrinking yourself to fit spaces that were never meant for you? There is a profound freedom that comes when you realize you don't owe everyone an explanation. For so long, you may have felt the need to clarify your intentions, defend your choices, or justify your boundaries. But growth teaches you something powerful. Those who are committed to misunderstanding you will twist even your explanations. So why exhaust yourself? Truth stands on its own. When God uncovers something, He does it in a way that requires no argument. Think about light entering a dark room. The darkness doesn't debate it. It simply disappears. That is what's happening in your life. You are entering a season where your authenticity speaks louder than any rumor ever could. Your peace becomes proof. Your stability becomes evidence. And let me ask you something deeply personal. What would your life look like if you stopped explaining yourself and simply lived aligned? Imagine the emotional energy you would reclaim. Imagine the calm you would experience. That freedom is not selfish, it is maturity. And maturity is one of the clearest signs that truth has found you. There's a unique kind of relief that washes over you when confusion finally begins to clear. It doesn't always arrive dramatically. Sometimes it comes quietly, through a moment of reflection, an unexpected conversation, or a sudden inner knowing you can't quite explain. What once felt tangled starts to unravel. The questions that kept you awake at night lose their grip. You begin to see patterns where before you only saw pain. And in that moment, you realize something powerful. Clarity was always on its way. For a long time, you may have carried emotional fog. You second-guessed your instincts. You replayed situations, wondering what you missed. That mental exhaustion is real, and many chosen ones know it intimately. But here's what often goes unseen. Confusion has an expiration date when you stay aligned with truth. The more you grow, the more life itself begins to answer questions you once struggled to articulate. Have you noticed that lately? Situations that once drained you now feel lighter. When confusion lifts, your energy shifts with it. You stop chasing explanations from people who never intended to give you clarity. You stop forcing closure where silence was the answer. Instead, you move forward with a calm certainty that doesn't require validation. This is emotional elevation in real time. And the beautiful part, it only gets clearer from here. One of the most sacred parts of this journey is the moment your identity starts solidifying from the inside out. Not the version of you that people projected, not the role others expected you to play, but the authentic you, the one that existed quietly beneath expectations, labels, and misunderstandings. When God begins revealing truth, identity is one of the first things to sharpen. You start recognizing your patterns, your strengths, your boundaries, and your purpose with new eyes. Many chosen ones spend years feeling like they don't fully belong anywhere. You may have adapted to different environments, trying to understand where you fit. But what if the discomfort was never about you being lost? What if it was about you outgrowing spaces that were never meant to contain your full self? Identity clarity often comes after seasons of emotional stretching. It is not confusion, it is expansion. As your identity becomes clearer, something subtle but powerful happens. Your decisions become more confident. Your no becomes firmer. Your yes becomes intentional. You stop asking, will they accept me? And start asking, is this aligned with who I truly am? That shift changes everything. So pause for a second and reflect. In what ways have you started recognizing your true self more clearly lately? Truth doesn't just expose, it restores. That's something many people misunderstand. They think revelation always brings chaos, but for those walking in alignment, truth actually brings deep emotional relief. It settles the nervous system. It quiets the overthinking mind. It brings a kind of peace that feels steady, not temporary. When you finally see situations for what they really were, the emotional weight begins to lift from your shoulders. Think about how heavy uncertainty feels, the constant wondering, the quiet tension in your chest, the mental loops that never seem to end. Now compare that to the feeling of finally understanding. Even if the truth isn't perfect, clarity itself is freeing. Studies in psychology even show that the human brain experiences less stress when uncertainty is reduced, even when the answer isn't what we hoped for. That's how powerful clarity is. And this is exactly what many chosen ones are experiencing right now, emotional restoration through truth. You are not as restless as you once were. You are not reacting as quickly. Your peace is becoming less fragile. That's not accidental. That's alignment in motion. And here's something worth asking yourself tonight. Where in my life has truth quietly brought me peace? For a long time, you may have felt like you were constantly being evaluated, trying to prove your intentions, trying to demonstrate your worth, trying to show people who you really are. But this new season carries a very different energy. It's no longer about convincing, it's about aligning. And there is a massive emotional difference between the two. When you are in proving mode, your energy feels tense, urgent, slightly defensive. You feel the need to explain, clarify, and sometimes even overextend yourself just to be understood. But alignment feels calm, grounded, certain. You don't rush to be seen because what is meant for you will naturally recognize you. This is one of the clearest signs of spiritual and emotional maturity. Right now, many chosen ones are being gently guided out of performance mode and into alignment mode. Less forcing, more flowing, less explaining, more embodying. If you've been feeling the urge to step back, to move quieter, to focus more on your inner stability, you are not regressing. You are refining. And the question I want to leave you with in this moment is powerful. Are you still trying to prove your path, or are you finally ready to simply walk it? There are seasons in life when movement is loud and obvious, new opportunities, new connections, visible progress. But then there are sacred seasons like this one, where the most important shifts happen quietly beneath the surface. If you felt recently like things are subtly rearranging around you, certain people drifting away, priorities changing, old habits losing their grip, you are not imagining it. You are being repositioned. Repositioning rarely feels comfortable in the moment. It can feel like uncertainty, like standing between what was and what's coming next. Many chosen ones mistake this phase for stagnation when, in reality, it is strategic movement happening behind the scenes. Think of a chessboard. The most powerful moves are often the ones that look small at first. One shift, and suddenly the entire board changes. That is the level of precision unfolding in your life right now. What makes this season powerful is that the repositioning is happening from the inside out. Your mindset is adjusting. Your tolerance for certain environments is changing. Your emotional responses are maturing. These are not random developments, they are preparation. And here's something to reflect on. What if the discomfort you've been feeling lately is actually evidence that your life is being carefully realigned? One of the clearest signs of growth is not what triggers you, it's what no longer does. Situations that once pulled strong emotional reactions from you are starting to lose their power. You're pausing more, observing more, responding instead of reacting. And while it may feel subtle, this shift represents deep emotional strength forming within you. In the past, certain words, behaviors, or misunderstandings may have pulled you into cycles of overthinking or emotional exhaustion. That was not weakness, that was sensitivity without full protection. But now something is different. You're still compassionate, still aware, still emotionally present, but there's a new layer of steadiness in you. Like waves that once crashed violently are now rolling in with controlled rhythm. Psychologically, this is what emotional regulation looks like in real time. Your nervous system is learning safety. Your mind is learning discernment. Your spirit is learning when engagement is necessary and when silence is more powerful. So let me ask you something important. Have you noticed situations lately that should have bothered you but didn't affect you the same way anymore? As your energy becomes more grounded, something interesting begins to happen. Not everyone will understand your calm. Some people were familiar with the version of you that reacted quickly, explained often, or emotionally carried situations longer than necessary. When that version of you evolves, it can confuse those who benefited from your old patterns. You may notice people questioning your distance, your quietness, or your new boundaries. They may interpret your peace as indifference, your silence as withdrawal, your calm as coldness. But here is the truth many chosen ones must eventually accept. Growth will always look unfamiliar to those who were comfortable with your earlier version. Your calm is not a flaw. It is emotional mastery in progress. It means you are no longer available for unnecessary chaos. It means your energy is becoming more intentional. And while some people may misunderstand that shift, the right ones will recognize the strength in it. Everything being uncovered in this season, every truth, every realization, every quiet emotional shift is not random exposure. It is positioning. Even the uncomfortable revelations serve a purpose. They clarify your environment. They refine your relationships. They sharpen your discernment. In ways you may not fully see yet, you are being strategically prepared for what's ahead. Positioning often requires clarity first. You cannot step fully into your next level while still carrying illusions from the previous one. That's why truth sometimes arrives in layers. First comes awareness, then comes emotional processing, then comes confident movement forward. If you feel like pieces of your life are currently rearranging, it's because the foundation is being strengthened for what you're about to handle. The powerful part is this: what's positioning you may not always feel comfortable in the moment, but it will make sense soon. Many chosen ones look back and realize the very season that felt uncertain was the one that aligned everything. Patience is often misunderstood as waiting idly, but for chosen ones, it is an active, powerful form of spiritual strength. Patience allows you to process without reacting, observe without judging, and grow without rushing. Every season of waiting, every pause, every moment that felt stagnant, it wasn't wasted. It was preparing your mind, heart, and soul for what is truly aligned with your purpose. In life, we often chase results, clarity, or recognition, but impatience leads to mistakes, misalignment, and unnecessary struggle. Consider a sculptor carefully shaping a masterpiece. Each careful stroke requires time, precision, and intention. Rush it, and the art is ruined. That's how patience works in your life. Waiting strategically doesn't mean inactivity, it means intentional preparation. It's one of the most underrated powers of someone walking their divine path. Discernment is no longer optional for the chosen one. It is essential. As truths are revealed, you begin to notice patterns, detect energies, and distinguish between what serves your purpose and what distracts from it. The days of blindly following external opinions or societal pressures are ending. Instead, your inner compass becomes your guide, sharper than ever before. Think of it like this: your life is a garden. Some people and circumstances are nourishing, others are toxic. Discernment teaches you which soil to plant in, which waters to accept, and which weeds to remove. Over time, you will find that you no longer invest in relationships, opportunities, or habits that don't align with your true self. This shift may feel lonely at first, but it is a liberation like no other. Here's something to ponder. What decisions in your life have recently felt clearer than before? That is discernment in action. It's your spirit learning to read between the noise and see what is authentically aligned for your growth. And the more you trust it, the stronger, wiser, and calmer you become. Revelation often comes hand in hand with release. What is revealed is not just about discovering truths. It is also about identifying what no longer belongs in your life. Relationships, habits, environments, or even self-limiting beliefs that once felt safe now appear out of alignment. Letting go is uncomfortable, but it is necessary to step fully into the life that is being prepared for you. Many chosen ones fear that releasing these things means losing control. In reality, it's the opposite. Letting go is the ultimate form of reclaiming control, control over your energy, your focus, and your peace. It is a declaration that you will no longer allow what is misaligned to dictate your journey. And as hard as it may be, the weight lifted from releasing what doesn't serve you is immeasurable. Change is often feared because it is unknown, but for the chosen one, it is a constant ally. What is being revealed, clarified, and aligned in your life often brings transformation. And though transformation can feel uncomfortable, it carries the gifts of growth, wisdom, and opportunity. Change is not something to resist, it's something to embrace, even if your heart trembles at first. Think about seasons in nature. Trees shed leaves in autumn, not because it harms them, but because it prepares them for growth in spring. Similarly, the changes you face now, even the difficult or unexpected ones, are positioning you for your next level of life. Every ending, every shift, every subtle nudge is part of a bigger, divinely orchestrated plan. Fear is just the mind trying to protect you from the unknown, but your soul knows the path. Alignment is not a concept, it's a lived experience. It's the moment when your inner world, your choices, and your external circumstances begin to reflect the purpose God has uniquely designed for you. When you notice synchronicities, doors opening effortlessly, or relationships naturally falling into place, these are signs that your life is moving in divine alignment. You may not understand every detail yet, but your soul recognizes the rhythm. For many chosen ones, alignment is preceded by struggle, confusion, and emotional growth. That's because alignment requires authenticity. It demands that you shed what's superficial, step out of fear, and honor your truth unapologetically. The beauty of this season is that you're no longer trying to fit a mold or meet someone else's expectations. You're embracing the path that resonates with your spirit. Walking your path as a chosen one requires courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward in spite of it. You may encounter moments when the weight of misunderstanding, judgment, or uncertainty feels heavy. But courage is the force that transforms those challenges into milestones and those trials into testimonies. Every step you take, even the uncertain ones, is a declaration of faith in your divine journey. Think of pioneers, visionaries, and leaders throughout history. They faced criticism, doubt, and opposition, yet they persisted because they were committed to their path. Similarly, your courage today is not just for you. It is an example and inspiration for others. Every small act of authenticity, every decision made from alignment rather than fear, becomes a beacon for those who have yet to find their way. One of the most challenging aspects of being a chosen one is learning to trust what you cannot yet see. Life rarely reveals all of its details up front. The unseen plan is operating quietly, orchestrating events, aligning people, and preparing opportunities that you may not yet recognize. Your task is not to control it, but to trust it. Trusting the unseen is an act of faith, a deliberate choice to believe that every moment is purposeful. Imagine watching a movie without seeing the ending. It can feel unsettling, even frustrating. But when the story unfolds as intended, every twist, challenge, and revelation makes perfect sense. Similarly, God's plan for your life is unfolding with precision, even if it feels uncertain in the moment. The key is patience, awareness, and unwavering faith. Ultimately, your journey as a chosen one is about living from your inner light. It's about walking with authenticity, speaking from truth, and embodying the peace, wisdom, and clarity that has been revealed to you. Your inner light is not dependent on external approval, success, or validation. It is a reflection of your alignment with purpose and divine truth. Living from this place allows you to experience freedom like never before. You no longer carry unnecessary burdens, react to misunderstandings, or measure your worth by others' opinions. You move through life intentionally, gracefully, and powerfully. Others will notice, not because you seek attention, but because your energy is magnetic, authentic, and unwavering. Chosen ones, your journey is sacred. What has been hidden is now being revealed to guide you, protect you, and position you for the life you were designed to live. Take a moment to reflect on the truths you've uncovered, the changes you've embraced, and the alignment you are stepping into. If this message resonated with you, consider sharing your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what truths are unfolding in your life. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Inner Light for more guidance, inspiration, and spiritual clarity. What part of this message spoke to your heart most? Share it with the community, and let's grow together in light and purpose.